Hi, my name is Ella Wei. Thank you for taking the time to watch this presentation. I'd like to first express my gratitude to our scientists for their dedicated work, generation after generation, and the great life of technology they have enabled to our human society. Quantum physics is one of the most successful theories in human history. It has given us modern computing, communication, and much more. At the same time, many of us also recognize that quantum mechanics leaves some fundamental questions unanswered, because its standing point has not covered the context of reality. This presentation explores one simple question: what is missing in quantum physics and where to find it? I'll approach this question step by step, moving between the gaps it does not address, gaps that matter for causality, intelligence, and coherent reasoning. Let's begin. Quantum mechanics describes quantum states, wave functions, probabilities, superposition, entanglement, and measurement outcomes. It does extraordinary work at predicting outcomes. It tells us what we observe with remarkable precision. Quantum physics tells us what we observe. It does not fully explain how it arrives there. Several foundational questions remain unresolved. What is the mechanics behind quantum phenomena like superposition and entanglement? Why does the same quantum system behave differently under different contextual conditions? Why does certain information cause collapse, certain other does not? Why do probabilities reorganize rather than remain static? Dark matter and dark energy account 95% of the cosmos. What are they? These are not experimental gaps. They are structural gaps. Between quantum fields and observable outcomes, there appears to be a missing piece. Something connects events, context, and meaning. Beyond microscope, there does exist the structure of the universe, which covers visible and invisible realities. Let me explain. There is a non-local relational substrate, let's call it Relational Coherent Network, RCN. It is a related substrate and a structure that links events through meaning. It organizes how information propagates, and it is a mechanism that shapes probabilities before collapse. Most importantly, it governs how events relate, not what events are. This network is built up by layers, and the layers are separated by specific frequency range. Consciousnesses are nodes or data hubs that connect these layers. Humans are the end nodes. Since I mentioned it organizes how information propagates, the other questions arise. Where are the information coming from? How does the system distinguish between relevant and irrelevant information? Why does observation affect outcomes at all? Why does context matter if information is purely relational? What interprets relational patterns and assigns significance to them? To answer these questions, I need to introduce another part: human intelligence. Human intelligence is originator of meaning and information. Through struggle and triumph, humans choose to expand their life experience. Those desire and intention are the origin of information input. Human intelligence is deployed in a body in 3 layers: brain memory, subconsciousness or soul, and body cells. Layer 1, brain memory, biological processing layer. The brain is designed to learn from the physical environment. It records experiences, recognizes patterns, sorts out preferences for expansion. Through the 5 physical senses, the brain gathers information from the external world and initiates new possibilities. Layer 2, subconscious, cognitive interpretive layer. This layer functions as the bridge between human experience and the Relational Coherent Network, RCN. Through this layer, information is transmitted beyond the individual into the relational structure that coordinates how events connect and how probabilities reorganize. Layer 3. Body cells. Autonomous physical intelligence. The third layer of human intelligence resides within the body itself. Every cell independently carries the intelligence, directly connected to higher frequency life force. This cellular intelligence governs self-healing, self-regulation, and growth automatically and continuously. Cells coordinate with one another to maintain balance, restore damage, and sustain life. Human intelligence performs 3 essential functions. It interprets information, it assigns meaning, it directs attention. This is why observation affects outcomes. Context reshapes probability. Identical systems produce different experiences. Reality is experienced individually rather than uniformly. This raises a new set of questions. Why don't all intentions materialize? What if harmful information or intent is issued? What determines which influences stabilize into reality? What prevents unlimited manifestation and chaos? These questions point to a regulating mechanism beyond human intelligence itself. And the next essential question becomes, what governs the boundaries of human influence? To answer that, we must move to the next layer of the architecture: universal equations, the regulators of manifestation. Reality is governed by dynamic regulatory processes known as universal equations. These processes balance energetic imbalance, preserve coherence, and select stable pathways. There are countless equations in the universe governing all levels of reality, from a cosmic object to a flower. They are very different from our scientific numerical formulas. These equations do not use numbers, but energy balancing to regulate realities. They are fully automated and highly dynamic. When imbalance occurs, the related equation can automatically set energy in motion to reach a new balance. Consider an example like this one. It is an equation related to Earth environment. Alpha multiply m multiply n equal to constant. Alpha represents human consciousness, intention, attention, and interpretation. M and N are native Earth elements that can change accordingly to stabilize the local system. Constant defines a range of tolerance for equilibrium. When alpha fluctuates within tolerance, the system absorbs it smoothly. When alpha exceeds it, especially at collective scale, system-level adjustments occur at constant level. Human consciousness is the most unpredictable variable in Earth environment. By the way, I hope this part may give a hint to our scientists who are troubled by dark matter, dark energy in the universe. Their questions cannot be answered until the gap of measurement is fully addressed. Humans are operated on numerical equations, while the universe is operated on energy balance. Since there are countless equations governing reality in the cosmos, you will probably ask, what is the core of the equations? This will lead to the foundation of the universe, the 3 principles of universal existence. At the highest level are structural constraints that define what can exist in the universe. They are the 3 principles of universal existence: harmonized energy, coexistence, co-expansion. They were established before any reality existed. These are not beliefs or ethics. They are existence constraints. Anything violating these principles crushes sooner or later in energy flow. All the equations are guarding the fundamental laws. Trace back to human evolution, look into our government configuration, examine business structure and community settings. Everything falls into these principles. These 3 principles clearly define human rights and equality. They articulate the definition of good and lawful, first time in human history. I have walked backward from physical world to principles of universal existence. I have answered all critical questions, and filled gaps between layers or dimensions. Now, let me do a quick run from top down, from energy to human life experience. The entire structure is quantum genesis, the architecture of reality. Introducing quantum genesis, the architecture of reality. Quantum genesis is composed of 5 knowledge areas, from cosmic energy to human life experience. Before anything existed, universal laws were established. The 3 principles of universal existence: harmonized energy, coexistence, co-expansion. These are not moral standards, neither beliefs. They are constraints that define what can or cannot exist in the universe. This is why planets do not collide, aliens do not invade. Sunrise and sunset, seasons, Earth environment remains eternal stability. To guard these principles, countless universal equations spring to regulate all existence. When imbalance occurs, the relevant equations automatically set energy in motion to achieve a new balance. The process can be observed as natural events, occasionally cosmic events. In Earth environment, human consciousness is the variable that fluctuates the most, causing majority of earthly events. At collective level, the balancing process of the equations can occur within human species. For example, the pandemic event. The universal laws govern the Relational Coherent Network, RCN, and the universal equations regulate its creative works. The balanced frequencies cause quantum fields to collapse, and the reality is created. RCN is the powerhouse of miraculous events. Things like instant healing, changing weather conditions, or alter natural disasters all happens at this level. As I mentioned before, humans are the end nodes of the creative network. There is a gigantic knowledge base serving as innate human intelligence. It is deployed in human body in 3 layers: brain memory, subconsciousness, and body cells. They are closely connected to maintain strength and vitality. A reality is experienced by humans. But this is not the end. A feedback is sent to RCN with desire and intention. A new cycle or reality begins. This endless loop has led to a continuous flow of life experience, to evolution, and to eternal expansion of the universe.